Hello there! Welcome to the Level 90 Boost Guide, a guide to success after boosting your character to level 90. My name is Tuskeh, and in this guide we'll discuss how to distinguish yourself and succeed as a boosted level 90 character. You may also pick up some tips if you've recently hit level 90 as well. With the Warlords of Draenor pre-order bringing in untold amounts of level 90 characters to the game, especially to the LFR and, to a lesser extent, flex difficulties, it's important that you don't just charge into current content as soon as you can. There are multiple things you need to do first, to prevent yourself from dragging down groups you enter. Now, before we begin, I'd just like to argue the importance of knowing what you're doing. While it is certainly possible to just face roll your way through an LFR wing, most LFRs succeed, especially nowadays, because a few well-geared players know what they're doing and keep the group intact. If every player in the group is a boosted level 90 without a clue as to what they're doing, then the run will fail. It's as simple as that. Now, let's get started with this guide. The first thing you're going to want to think about as soon as you've boosted your level 90 up is knowing your class. Forget gear, forget raiding for at least a day or two. You've just missed out on potentially dozens of hours learning your class one ability at a time. You have to catch up. First of all, find yourself a guide. Icy Veins has great written guides, and Mike Preach WoW does great getting started videos for each class. You can find links to each of these in the description below. If you don't like either of these techniques, just search on the internet for guides. Anything that will prevent you from just charging into content without knowing your class. Second of all, take some time to play your class. Guides are great, yes, but you're going to have to get used to the class you've boosted. You'll start on the Timeless Isle, so get stuck into the elites there and learn how your class works. Take the time to get your rotation sorted out. Spend some time on the training dummies until you're more confident. Then, once you've gotten a few pieces of Timeless gear in this process, see about heading into 5-man heroics. 5-mans might be a bit of a joke, yes, but they'll get you going in a group environment. This is more for tanks and healers. This will get you started and comfortable with your role in an environment that barely punishes mistakes. After that, move on to the early LFRs, like Mogushan Vaults and the Heart of Fear. This brings us on to gear. It's important to note that the Timeless Isle gear is, for all intents and purposes, really, really bad. The stats are badly optimized, there are few gem slots, and the item level is swollen far too high. Try to replace it with LFR gear if you can. Throne of Thunder LFR gear is a good replacement for Timeless Isle gear, even though the item level can sometimes be a bit lower. A note about the legendary quest chain. Do it! It needs to be one of the first things you do. Getting the legendary quest done, which can take a long time, yes, is one of the most telling signs of someone who cares about their character. Get started, don't be lazy with it, and you'll be well on your way towards having a healthy level 90 character. Other things you should think about: add-ons and key bindings. Make sure you have a comfortable user interface with all of your keys bound. Take the time to find the right key bindings for each of your spells. You must be comfortable with your class before going into LFRs. Another thing to think about is gems and enchants. Do them! Make sure your gear is gemmed and enchanted before entering the Throne of Thunder or above. The others you can probably get away with, but you shouldn't, especially if you're a tank or a healer. Get yourself gemmed and enchanted, it's very important. You can find gem and enchanting guides as part of the guides in the description. If you're a DPSer, you have to get your class mechanics right and nailed. Being on the bottom of the DPS charts sucks, and if you don't have a desire to get out of the lower echelons of DPS, then you really have the wrong mentality. Learn your class mechanics, practice endlessly on training dummies until your rotation and priority systems are second nature to you. If you're a healer, then you have to start learning how to heal. While your class mechanics are very important, yes, it's more important that you learn how to effectively heal, regardless of your class. A few quick notes. Remember that as a healer, you're thinking preemptively, and you have to be prepared for damage that's coming in. This requires good knowledge of the fights you'll be getting involved in. Fights are probably going to be quite chaotic, so you have to keep a level head. Try to never run out of mana unless it's at the very end of a fight. Never let the tanks die if you can help it. Icy Veins has a great healer guide too, so make sure you check that out. If you're a tank, then you have to 100% learn situational awareness. This is just what it sounds like. You have to be aware of the situation around you, how it can change, and how you want it to change. This goes from not standing in stuff at your feet to thinking ahead. See a pack of ads in the distance? Consider pulling them now instead of later to avoid it patrolling into other groups and slowing the group down. Someone pulled aggro? Don't get angry. Just grab aggro as fast as you can, try to save their life, and really don't let people die. You must play very reactively. Know your limits, remember to use your cooldowns since that's what they're there for, and remember that fights can change fast. Know your mechanics, know the boss mechanics, and try to protect the raid. That is your role after all. To wrap this guide up, I'd just like to reiterate on the importance of not jumping into the Siege of Orgrimmar LFR as soon as you're in Timeless Isle gear. A fully Timeless geared tank will get crushed in LFR, and a fully Timeless geared healer won't be able to keep up with the healing. That's not even to mention that if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to be dragging the group down regardless of your role. Finally, I've created an image that should help you with this process. It's somewhat of a chart, and it will cover every step you should take before entering the Siege of Orgrimmar LFR difficulty. You can find this in the description. It's perfectly possible to turn a boosted level 90 into a great character. Just remember that it'll take time, patience, and dedication. If it didn't, the journey wouldn't be worth travelling. Thank you for watching this guide. I hope you found it useful. Please comment, rate this video, and share it with as many people as you can. The less clueless level 90s the World of Warcraft has, the happier everyone is going to be. Additionally, I suggest subscribing to catch these guides as soon as they come out. Thank you for watching, and best of luck with your loot.